Hello and welcome to a new video on the second episode of Nawabo Ka Sheher. In this video, you will basically see all the top and historically significant sites that we covered in Murshidabad. While in Murshidabad, its old wall charm, laid-back Tonga rides are sure to take one back to the 17th and 18th century. Exploring the palatial houses all around on a Tonga is definitely a fascinating experience. To know how this trip started off, where we stayed, and what all we did on the first day in Murshidabad, you can check out my first episode of Nawabo Ka Sheher, जिसका link आपको ऊपर cards में and नीचे description में मिल जाएगा. On the second day, our sightseeing started off with the Kathgola Palace and Gardens built by Dhanpat and Lakshmipad Singh Duggar in 1873. It is said that the garden had most unusual black roses, which is now filled with mango trees. This complex also has a bauli or step well, generally unseen in this part of the country. This bauli has a secret tunnel which goes up to the house of Jagat Seth, a small pond, a zoo which is definitely the oldest zoo of Bengal, a giant temple, and the Grand Palace. Kathgola comes from the words Kath means wood and Golap means roses, because apparently they had huge business of wood and roses, but secretly they also used to smuggle diamonds and had a close friendship with moneylender Jagat Seth. Also, this is the place where William Watts met traitor Mir Zafar just 3 days after the Battle of Plassey in 1757 to discuss the payment promised to him before the historical battle. The Jain temple in the complex is open to all tourists throughout the year. This temple is mainly dedicated to Parashnath, Adinath and Mahavir. हम अभी ये काठगोला पैलेस का जो म्यूज़ियम है अंदर इंटीरियर्स में वो हम देख के निकले, बट आई कैन नॉट शो यू दैट बिकॉज अंदर वीडियोग्राफी फोटोग्राफी कुछ भी अलाउड नहीं है, सो आई डिड नॉट टेक माई कैमराज. बट ये जो पूरा पीछे आप देख रहे हैं 3 स्टोरेड पैलेस, ये पूरा टॉप फ्लोर तक, ग्राउंड फ्लोर से टॉप फ्लोर तक पूरा अंदर एंटीक चीज़ों का, ये इन लोगों का जो रियल यूज्ड फर्नीचर्स है ये सब कुछ रखा हुआ है यहाँ पे, एंड इट इज़ रियली वेरी ब्यूटिफुल. The palace, now converted to a museum with extremely valuable paintings, priceless artifacts, furnitures and decorative mirrors, it is full of grandeur. Next on the list was House of Jagat Seth. Jagat Seth was not a person but a family title, and the man who financed the Battle of Plassey was Mahatab Rai. Fateh Chand, who had raised the family's wealth and influence to unimaginable heights, earned the title of Jagat Seth from Emperor Mahmud Shah, which means the banker or merchant of the world. From minting money, selling and purchasing gold, collecting revenues and dealing with foreign traders, controlling exchange rates and lending to emperors and zamindars, the House of Jagat Seth was no less than a central bank, and it was also often compared to the Bank of England. The Jagat Seth was the world's richest family in the 18th century. Not very far from the house of Jagat Seth is the Nasipur Palace and the Nasipur Akhra, which is the place of worship for the Nasipur Raj family. Raja Devi Sinha Bahadur, the founder of Nasipur Raj family, migrated to Bengal in 1756 and rose to prominence by farming the districts of Purnia, Idrakpur, Rangpur and Dinajpur under a lease. Devi Sinha entered the service of East India Company in the Revenue Department, in which he held a high and responsible position. The main building, which was the court of Devi Sinha, is now a museum which again restricts any kind of photo or videography. Behind this is the main palace, where there is a huge hall which was used for entertainment, where personalities like Hirabai performed. There is a Tagore house including the Priyashipal temple, which contains the family deity Sri Ramchandra Dev Tagore. Footi Mosque became an attraction based on different variations of a single story. This was built by Nawab Siraj-Ud-Daula Khan in 1740. The Nawab hired masons for several months, but after coming across some ghostly incidents, to avoid further delay, Nawab ordered to spread this message that he pledged to complete the construction overnight to compete with his grandfather, Nawab Murshidabad Khan, who had built the famous Katra Masjid. But the mosque could not be finished overnight. Since then, the mosque has been left unfinished. All the 5 tombs here were left incomplete. Nimakharam Dairy is the place of Mir Zafar. Here existed a palace which got destroyed. Only the gate of the palace remains now. Zafragan Cemetery is the place where 1001 graves of Mir Zafar's family members and descendants can be found. This is the ruins of the mosque made by Azimunnisa Begum, one of the 3 daughters of Nawab Murshidabad Khan. Katra Mosque is the mosque and tomb of Nawab Murshidabad Khan, born as Surya Narayan Mishra in a Deccan Brahmin family, but due to his poverty he was bought by a Persian in the Mughal court, Haji Shafi, who raised him in Persia and named him Muhammad Hadi. But after Shafi's death, Nawab came back to India and worked under Abdullah Khurasani, the Diwan of Vidarbha in Hyderabad. He was later noticed by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, who sent him to Bengal in 1717 as Subedar, and later he was appointed as Nawab of Murshidabad. और ये जो 2 मीनारें देख रहे हैं आप इस मॉस्क में, ऐसे चारों था 4 कॉर्नर्स में, but 2 of them got destroyed due to the earthquake of 1897. And even 2 tombs inside the mosque got destroyed due to the earthquake. The main gate would lead you to a massive courtyard that used to accommodate around 2000 namaz readers at the same time. All the square-shaped structures in the wall of the mosque had expensive Belgium glasses fitted on them, but after independence, Britishers broke and took all of these with them. मुर्शिदाबाद इज़ फेमस फॉर वुड वर्क्स एंड आइवरी वर्क्स, इसलिए यहाँ सारे टूरिस्ट स्पॉट्स के बाहर आपको वुड वर्क में डिफरेंट वेराइटीज ऑफ आइटम्स मिलेगा जो आप खरीद सकते हैं एज सोवेनियर्स फॉर योरसेल्फ एंड योर फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली। और यहाँ चलते चलते हमें एक खास चीज भी नजर आया, द रॉ सिल्क वर्म्स व्हिच वाज बीइंग ड्राइड अप व्हिच विल बी यूज्ड टू मेक द वर्ल्ड फेमस मुर्शिदाबाद सिल्क। और यहाँ ह्यूज एरियाज में जो आम के बगीचे हैं उसको देखकर तो कोई भी अंदाजा लगा सकता है कि यहाँ का मैंगोज भी कुछ कम फेमस नहीं है। So now we are at our final destination for today, which is the very famous Hazarduari Palace, the Hazarduari complex. The whole complex is open till 6 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. Because we are staying at this Hazarduari complex, बहुत नज़दीक है हमारा होटल, इसलिए we can cover it in 1 hour or we can take more and just leisurely end our day. Hazarduari meaning 1000 doors. This palace has 900 real and 100 fake doors. Here we were lucky to witness the 50th celebration of the 1971 war when East Pakistan and West Pakistan got separated and Bangladesh got its identity. This was organized by the BSF. The sad part is the original Hazarduari Palace was demolished and it sank into the river. The one we see now was built in the 19th century during the reign of Nawab Nazim Humayun Jah of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. This palace is also converted into a museum with 19 galleries housing precious 2700 collections including British, Indian and even Dutch relics. Don't miss out the crystal chandelier in the Darbar Hall of the palace, which is the second largest chandelier in the world after the one in Buckingham Palace. It was given to the Nawab by Queen Victoria The Hazarduari complex houses the clock tower, popularly known as Ghadi Ghar, which had clocks on all four sides, probably to help the sailors sailing down the Bhagirathi river. But after independence, Britishers took all three clocks and only one clock remains on one side. The Nizamat Imambara, there existed a wooden Imambara in the same place till 1846, built by Siraj-Ud-Daula, but sadly during a celebratory function, the Imambara caught fire and was reduced to ashes. But within 2 years, by 1848, the Imambara was rebuilt, and this one is believed to be the biggest Imambara in whole India. The Imambara is usually closed for tourists throughout the year. It's only open for 10 days during Muharram. So we are back to our hotel. It's almost 6 p.m. and बहुत टायर्ड हो चुके हैं आज के लिए. अभी बस डिनर करके वी आर गोइंग टू क्रैश. कल संडे है, हमारा 3rd डे ऑफ दिस ट्रिप और कल हम लोग गंगा के हुगली रिवर के उस साइड जाएंगे टू एक्सप्लोर दैट पार्ट ऑफ मुर्शिदाबाद. सो दैट विल बी ऑन द नेक्स्ट व्लॉग. तो अभी के लिए इतना ही. आई विल सी यू सून. तब तक के लिए टेक केयर, बी हैप्पी, बी हेल्दी एंड कीप फॉलोइंग योर ड्रीम्स.